head coach Dennis Green.
Thanks, Mike. And, Coach, most preseason prognosticators pick your team to finish near the bottom of the division, but tonight you have a chance to be the first team to clinch a playoff berth. I got to ask you, what did you know that the rest of us didn't?
Well, we thought we'd have a good football team. We've got about 14, 15 starters back from our 1998 team. We've got a great group. I think we have good balance between our special teams, offense, and defense. So, we're hoping we can continue winning at home, which is what we've done so far.
Now, a lot has changed for the Detroit Lions. It's your 7-point win in Week 5. Is this a different Detroit Lions football team right now?
I think they're playing better on offense. I think on defense, they've still got the really good front with the linebackers and their defensive front. So they're a good team. Anytime you're 8-4 after 12 games in the National Football League, you're a very good football team.
It's always a pleasure to talk to you, Coach.
Thank you.
All right. Well, so far this season, the Vikings have made all the right moves. But according to Chris Carter, they still have a few more steps to take.
Step 1 is to win your division, get into playoffs. Step 2 is secure home field advantage. If you can get home field advantage, then your opportunities of being in Tampa January 28th are great.
That's the leg up, let's go!
You heard about Benny the Bison?
No, what?
He never checked out the risk and overall performance of those mutual funds he bought.
Well, Benny's no brain surgeon, right?
When we created a smarter kind of investment firm, we created a smarter kind of investor with tools like the Schwab Select List, which highlights historically high-performing mutual funds. Visit schwabwelcome.com to order a free copy of the Select List.
You don't do your homework, you end up looking ridiculous.
ESPN welcomes you to the following presentation of the National Football League.
All he does is make 1,000 if he gets 5 tonight. Chris Carter trying to join Jerry Rice as the only men ever to do it. His wife Melanie on hand with their children. $9.95 coming into the ball game. And it's a special night. There's Michael Jordan, part of the sellout crowd, hoping to see history made in the Metrodome. Mitch Berger to kick it off, one of the best in the NFL, although his touchback percentage down this year. One of the most dangerous returners in the game, Desmond Howard.
And what they're trying to do, I'm going to tell you, Minnesota's really afraid of Desmond Howard. They're going to try and kick this ball a little bit short so he doesn't have a chance to run it back.
Averaging better than 25 yards a return. Berger, there's the pooch kick. Schlesinger, the fullback, comes up on it and gets it out to the 40-yard line. So the Lions, who lead the NFL in field position start at the 40. Let's check out that Lion offense.
Hi, I'm James Stewart. At quarterback, we got Charlie Batch. Fullback, we got Corey Sledgehammer Schlesinger. We got the wide receivers, Johnny Morton, nicknamed J-Mo. The other wide receiver is Herman Moore. At tight end, we got David Minicalf Sloan. My big old line is Dr. McDougal, Barrett Brooks, Tony Simple, Jeff Hardings, and our center is Mike Big Sexy Cobb.
Batch with those bad ribs throws the screen to Schlesinger, and he'll pick up 3 or 4.
The one thing that the Lions have to be concerned with is the health of Charlie Batch. Whether he's getting sacked or whether he's just taking hits, he can't afford many. I watched him in warm-ups. He's got to protect himself. There's a big shot right in the nose.
Well, Lance Sawyer, watch it. Dr. McDougal, he's number 73. He's got to get himself out and protect the quarterback. You're absolutely right.
Batch play action. Throws complete. Johnny Morton for the first down. Here's the Vikings defense.
Hi, I'm John Randall, also known as Dr. Dre. Right up front are Mystical Tony Williams, Cash Money Lance Sawyer, and Kid Rock Chris Hovain. Our linebackers, known as the Bill DeVoe, are Ed McDaniel, Holly Wong, and Gabe Northern.
These guys have turned it into a 15-minute short story.
Lions with trips wide receivers, and now they move Herman Moore. Stewart just back to the line of scrimmage. Let's get back to John Randall for the rest of that defense.
The defensive backs are Robert Top 5 Tate, Kenny Smooth Wright, Robert Griffith, and Tyrone Carter.
Hey, back to you guys, baby! Yeah! 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 Yeah!
Thank you, John.
That's just the way he plays. Yeah, he does.
He's like that 25 hours before a game.
2nd and 10 for Detroit. We're in Minnesota territory at the 45. Stewart straight ahead for a couple, no more. That's Tony Williams who gets up slowly. There's Gary Moeller. Now 3-0 in his stint. He is not an interim head coach. He is the head coach of the Lions. Replaced Bobby Ross, who was a victim of burnout.
Has a 3-year deal.
Yeah, but I like what he said, though. It's really nice when you're winning, you know what?
3-0 cures a lot of ills.
Yeah, it does.
3rd and 8. Cedric Irvin comes in. Blitz coming. Incomplete. They put pressure on Charlie Batch, and the Lions will have to give it up.
Kylie Wong, number 52, the linebacker. They did. They blitzed outside. They brought a corner.
And the thing that's almost as important for the Lions is that Charlie Batch gets up after taking those kind of hits. They can't afford to let him have too many, but if he goes to the sideline healthy now, that's a pretty good indicator that he can handle it.
That's Troy Walters waiting for the punt at the 10-yard line. Jet to kick it away, hangs it high. Tip back into the field of play, and Walters has it. What a play by Troy Walters. He's got a chance. And out of bounds. Holy cow, what a play.
You know what's amazing about this play? The run is sensational. The heads-up football of Troy Walters. But the amazing part about it, when he catches that ball, Joe, he can run all the way down. And if he would have fumbled the ball down there and Detroit would have gotten it, the ball would have come all the way back where he got it because Detroit touched it first.
Boy, you're right, Paul. The heads up, not only just him, but look at his teammates pick up the wall ahead of him. And there we saw a shot of his dad, who just has to be thrilled with what his young son has done.
A 62-yard return, and the Vikings allowed the start from the Lions 34. Culpepper on first down, great protection underneath, and Chris Carter with 1 of the 5. He's now up to 996. The crowd didn't need anything to get fired up, but that did it.
There they are, taking the numbers away.
Well, you know, we asked yesterday, the coaches and everybody, you know, how are you going to get the ball to them? And they all just said, it's in the game plan. There's nothing special. It'll be in the game plan.
2nd and 2 for Minnesota. Carter. 2 plays, 2 catches. Here's the Vikings offense.
I'm Corey Stringer. The QB, Dante Culpepper, the boy. Running back, Robert Smith. The big fullback, Jimmy Kleinsasser. The wide receivers, the Reverend Chris Carter. The freak, Randy Moss. Tight end, Johnny McWilliams. Joining me in the tackle is Big Todd Stoops. The guards, Corbin Lucina and the New Zealand Nightmare, Dave Dixon. Matt Burgess, the center from Harvard.
Corey, thank you very much. Robert Smith with his first carry, and inside the 20, here's the Lions defense.
I'm Robert Porcher. Joining me tonight on defense, we have Tracy Scroggins at end. The big guys up front are James Jones and Luther Ellis. At linebackers, we have Alan Aldridge, Chris Claiborne, and Steven, the ladies love me, boy. In the secondary, we have Brian Westbrook, Terry Fair at corners. And our safeties are Corin Brown and Kylin Supino. Back to Mike, Joe, and the legend, Mr. Paul McGuire.
Oh, my
He's been upgraded to legend. Robert, thank you.
Goodness me.
The check is in the mail, Robert.
Culpepper, blitz coming, wide open up the middle. Culpepper to the 10.
For the last couple of weeks, Dante Culpepper has not run the football very much. As a matter of fact, he's only run it 3 times in the last 2 weeks. Coach Green explained today, he said, against this defense, as good as they are up front, he's going to have to run a lot more. That was not a designed quarterback draw, but when he gets the chance tonight, he's going to take off and go.
And Culpepper now within 2 yards of Fran Tarkenton's single-season rushing record for a quarterback. And there is Francis, member of the 40th anniversary team on here tonight. Smith to the 6.
The closer you get to the goal line, the one thing that really you have to be conscious of if you're the Lions is the matchup that you're going to have on Randy Moss. They make no secrets about the fact that they feel like you get the ball to Randy anywhere near him in the end zone, he's going to go up and make a play. Just depends on who they want to match up against him and how the Vikings want to try and give him the opportunity to get in the end zone.
2nd and goal. Blitz coming. Culpepper gets outside it and throws it away. Carter, the closest man to it.
Troy Walters, thinking about the great return he made. It just, you know, Paul, you really hit it. It's the heads-up nature of knowing what's going on the field. He knew that he could take off and run with it, and no matter what, it was going to be an improvement over the field position. Of course, there's his dad, linebacker coach. Promised him he wouldn't be too demonstrative.
No hugs.
No hugs.
Only on a touchdown.
That's right.
Only on a touchdown, they'll hug.
Almost have one.
3rd and goal. Culpepper short set to Moss. He's got it at the 1.
Well, Randy Moss has decided already for Denny Green. Let's go for it. It's 4th down, and he doesn't throw the ball up in the air. Randy really doesn't get in the end zone enough. He lets the ball go too quickly, and Bryant Westbrook makes the tackle.
Yeah, but look at how Moss blocks out Westbrook. Westbrook doesn't have a chance to get to the ball, but what he does do is he makes the tackle and keeps him from getting a touchdown.
And
they can't afford
Westbrook
this.
is the injured player. They are already so thin in the secondary. Westbrook tied for 3rd in the NFL with 6 interceptions. We'll check on him in a moment.
Well, it's Christmas time, everybody.
Is out. The free safety, Ron Rice. The other safety is out.
When you have a 260-pound quarterback, sneaks aren't bad.
4th and goal. Robert Smith. Touchdown. Got the ball across the plane.
Or if you have Robert Smith, Joe. But Robert Smith, you talk about heads up. Here's down the line. Watch the ball. All it has to do is break the plane. If it breaks the plane there.
You know something?
Boy, is that close.
He didn't have possession of the ball when it breaks the plane. This is not a touchdown. I believe that that ball is knocked out of his hands before he gets to the end zone.
Boy, and did they hurry to get that extra point off. There's a marker down on it. Joe, that's an excellent point. That came loose.
I don't believe this is a touchdown. Watch as he heads towards the goal line. Watch how the ball gets knocked out. You must have possession going in. That ball is not on the goal line, in my opinion, when he gains possession.
Offense number 91, 10-yard penalty, retry.
Now it's up to the Lions to challenge that.
Yeah, but they had to do it before the extra point was kicked. And that's why they lined up to kick the extra point. Once a play is run, you can't challenge anything.
But the play didn't count.
Well, I'm going to tell you what, when he finally gets control of the ball, it is so close, the nose of that ball.
I would challenge it. I think it's, at this stage, if the opportunity presented itself, I think Coach Moeller should challenge it.
Anderson with now a long extra point and no problem right down the middle. So a great return by Troy Walters results in the first score of the night. Robert Smith gets the touchdown. Kicking away this time, Desmond Howard from the 4. Wrapped up at the 20. Harold Morrow down on special teams makes the stop. 7-0 first quarter. Back to the Metrodome in a moment. That's Bryant Westbrook, and he has ice packed around his left Achilles. A terrible sign for the Detroit Lions. They'll start at their own 20. Batch, nice fake. Plenty of time. Doesn't want to run with those ribs. And takes a hit inbounds from Talent Sawyer. Excuse me, Gabe Northern. Let's check in with Solomon Wilcott. Solly?
Yeah, Mike, the injury to Brian Westbrook is being called a sprained left Achilles tendon. I overheard the trainer saying that it's a possible rupture. His return is very doubtful. They're going to take him into the locker room. When he came off the field, the head coach, Gary Moeller, said, "What's wrong with it?" He said, "I don't know. I can't move it." Back to you, Mike.
Solomon, that's awful. They are rapidly running out of defensive backs against a team that you can't find enough DBs. Draw play to Stewart. And Stewart takes it up to the 29. Stewart, in the first time that these teams met, had a season-high 123 yards on 20 carries. That's exactly the kind of night they need out of him tonight.
Well, Charlie Batch said to us yesterday, if we're going to win this football game, there's the guy that really has to win it for us, is Stewart. James Stewart has got to get 125 yards.
And they need to get a first down here very badly to keep that Viking offense off the field.
They face 3rd and 2. Cedric Irvin dives for the 30. That'll still be short.
Robert Tate, what a great play by the corner, number 28. I mean, Cedric Irvin comes out. He just took him on and made the tackle right on the spot. Doesn't move. Watch this. This is a corner making the tackle. Here comes Irvin to the outside. Watch here. Bam! And Irvin doesn't move. Really, he's already stopped.
The former wide receiver converted to a defensive back makes a big tackle. John Jett will have to kick. Walters waits at his 30. Pressure on Jett. He gets it out of there. Beauty. Walters from the 17. And drilled as he got to the 27. 12-yard return after a 53-yard punt. Robert Tate with a huge defensive play for the Minnesota Vikings. We're in the nice toasty dome where the Vikings have the ball for the second time. They're up 7-0. Culpepper. Carter to the 37. 3 catches on the night for Chris Carter. That will take him to 998. 2 away from joining Jerry Rice. It's the only 2 receivers in history with 1,000.
You don't make you think, well, they're just dumping him the ball. But just think about this, folks. They just dumped him the ball, and he picked up almost 9 yards. That ain't just a dump.
The other thing is Darnell Walker's up against him now, and he's only 5'8".
Smith, big hole up the middle. Another first down. Kylin Supernall with the tackle. He's starting for the injured Kurt Schultz.
This is the dilemma that the Lions have defensively. If you want to double cover the wide receivers, that means that you have to deal with Robert Smith and just try and stop him with 7 inside. No one's really done it very well. If you bring the safety down to try and put somebody at the line of scrimmage, then you wind up with short corners on tall receivers, and they'll throw those little hitches in front of them all day.
Mo Williams, number 21, is checked in to give Robert Smith a breather. Culpepper to throw. Dumps it off. Into Lion territory at the 46. Stephen Boyd makes the tackle on Williams. Dante Culpepper. Everybody thought Dennis Green was crazy when he got rid of Jeff George and Randall Cunningham and said this young man who has not thrown a pass in the NFL is now my starter. He is putting up Dan Marino, Kurt Warner type numbers in his first year as a starter.
Well, even Chris Carter, when we talked to him the other day, he said, yeah, we thought he was crazy too. Like, Coach was nuts. What are you doing?
I'll tell you what's not crazy is to throw the ball deep to Randy Moss on 2nd and short and let him make a play on it.
Culpepper pumps, looks deep. Moss can't get it. Turned late and had trouble finding the ball. Darnell Walker was there. Nice call, Joe.
Well, he was going to Chris Carter first.
Dante Culpepper goes to the left. You see, Randy Moss just sort of jogs. Now all of a sudden he knows he's got it. Dante Culpepper actually throws this ball over the wrong shoulder. If he'd have just let him down the middle, he would have been able to make the play. But watch this, will go right through, almost through his hands. But the ball is thrown to the right when if it was thrown a little bit more to the left, I believe he'd have had it.
3rd and inches. Smith lowers his shoulder and has a first down at the 44.
Marksman Shanahan and Fedorov and the Red Wings battle scoring machine Pavel Bure and the Panthers. Every game is a story. Red Wings Panthers, Friday at 8 on ESPN.
That's Red McCombs, the owner of the Vikings. He and his lovely wife Charlene were extremely kind to us before the game. They brought us this cake to congratulate us on our 200th NFL broadcast.
What a class act he is.
It's
so great.
He is so kind and so considerate of other people. It's just nice to be around he and his wife. He said they're going to run the table. Right now, it'd be tough to bet against them, wouldn't it?
Yep. Larry's beeper went off.
You know, the one thing about the Detroit Lions defense, and we're talking about all these defensive backs that are missing, a lot of teams, and you hear us talk week in and week out about they're in a nickel situation. That's 5 defensive backs. And then they have dime.
And that's the situation that Larry Peccatello, the defensive
there is no
coordinator, is
challenge.
faced with.
The buzzer went off accidentally. First down.
Kurt Schultz just relegated to an observer tonight.
Well, as you say, they go to a dime, and when they go to a dime, they don't have a dime.
They don't have a dime, and they don't have
a nickel.
Ron Rice isn't in there to make that dime complete.
Schultz is out. Rice is out. Westbrook has been hurt, and now Charlie Batch going to the tunnel. Badly bruised ribs in his last game. The situation just getting worse and worse for the Lions. Blitz coming. Culpepper spins out of trouble. Stephen Boyd after him, got a hand on him, but couldn't make the tackle. Culpepper is exceedingly strong.
You saw 2 outstanding football plays by 2 different people. First of all, the move of Dante Culpepper as he feels the pressure coming from the right. The quick little spinner out. Now watch what Stephen Boyd does. He doesn't flail at him. He comes under control and just tries to grab him and make him throw the ball away.
Culpepper, first-round draft choice a year ago, listed at 266 pounds.
And every pound of it, too.
Draw play to Smith. Gaping hole up the middle for Robert Smith. For the Lions, 27-yard line, a gain of 17.
Well, Walker saves, and I don't know if it would have been a touchdown or not because Robert Smith stumbled as he was trying to make a move. Corey Stringer just gets an outstanding block. He's number 77. Look at this block on Porsche. He knocks him inside. Watch this hole open up. That's just an outstanding hole.
Stringer has been playing at a consistently high level from that right tackle spot. And Smith, number 2 in the NFL in rushing yardage coming in.
I think it's time to get Chris Carter the ball again.
So they'll give it to Kleinsasser for a rare carry for him. Drags Claiborne with him inside the 25.
This has to be the biggest quarterback-fullback combination in the history.
How about O-line? Quarterback, fullback.
Yeah, they do. They have the biggest offensive line, when I say the biggest, more weight than anybody in the National Football League, the Minnesota Vikings. The biggest quarterback, the biggest fullback.
Big is a good term for everybody.
Yeah, and then old Robert Smith back there behind all that stuff smiling.
Kleinsasser's 279. Blitz coming. Culpepper. Carter tried to one-hand it, couldn't make the catch.
He mistimed his jump.
Did you see him try to take? I mean, he practices this, folks. The one-handed catch. He practices it all the time.
He's actually making it harder than it has to. He just mistimes his jump. See how he has to try and hang in the air? Now, we have Michael Jordan in the house. If that was him, he'd be up there a little bit longer.
Being covered by a safety, Kywin Supernaw. There's Michael.
Michael's saying, hey, look, I can hang up there a little bit more.
As he's saying, you got to have hang time.
3rd and 6. Culpepper wide open as Walsh first down. Well, you can cover Moss. You can cover Carter. You can cover Smith out of the backfield. You cover all those guys, somebody's open.
Not only that, Mike, but when you start losing corners and safeties like Rice and Schultz and Westbrook, Denny Green's offense can pick on that secondary because, in truth, those guys haven't had a chance to work very much together. And Sherm Lewis has the liberty of going to all those star receivers and guys that he slides in to make first downs.
Under a minute to go, first quarter. Vikings marching again. And the Lions come across early. Kelvin Pritchett, number 93. The first man, a little pushing and shoving afterward. We'll see the call.
Encroachment. Number 93. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
So Joseph, if Minnesota goes up by 14, and Charlie Batch, we saw him go to the locker room. 14 points puts you in a passing mode. Well, I mean, you don't really get away from your running game. I think you can.
If Charlie Batch doesn't come out to play, then we see ESPN Stoney Case. Every time Stoney's on a team, we wind up having him in a game.
1st and 5 down for Minnesota. Smith the single setback.
He's got single on Randy right now.
Culpepper looking that way. Carter at the 5. Chris Carter now 1 catch away from 1,000.
And wouldn't it be fitting? We saw Jerry Rice's 1,000th catch, okay? That was a touchdown. Wouldn't it be fitting if he got one as well?
Well, Joe, that's all he does is catch touchdowns. Chris Carter, $9.99. The Vikings 7-0 over the Lions. 89 and counting. 4 catches. First quarter of this game. They came out early and fed him the football. First over the middle from Dade Culpepper. Then a hitch to the right side. Another hitch. And then the last catch, which ended the quarter, gave the Vikings a 1st and goal at the Lion 4.
That last catch and that throw was just a little bit too easy.
You know, if there's any way that you call a play, I think you give Chris a shot on this play here. Somehow, some way.
He's in the slot on the right. Culpepper. Carter. Touchdown! What a way to do it! His wife, Melanie, his daughter, Monterey, his son, Duran. Monterey gets the football. 1,000 for Chris Carter.
Those are tears of joy, folks.
From the coach as well as the player. There's two men that have so much faith and belief in one another and have leaned on one another ever since Chris got here and played for Denny Green. He's in the slot on this play. You just got to believe that this is the one they wanted to call. Just head for the corner, Chris. I'll hang it up in the air on you. You've got a safety on you in Super Gnaw. There's no way he's going to cover you. Not at this moment.
Is it any more fitting to have this throw into the corner?
Oh, it's going to look like a great picture on a poster, too.
It's perfect.
You know, it's just a great poster shot when they do all the stills of it.
Gary Anderson then to attempt the point after.
The point after is good. There's a marker down. Chris Carter overwhelmed by the moment. The penalty is declined. It's 14-0. Chris Carter has done it. He and Jerry Rice have joined the 1,000-catch club. Carter and his wife, Melanie.
They have the count down in the Metrodome. You know, from the beginning of the season at 9:30, you get 9:40, 9:50. And it really wasn't a big deal. Then when it hit 9:90, I was like, wow.
Wow is right. 1,000 for his career. Desmond Howard, 2 yards deep. Cut down at the 15-yard line. Chris Carter needed 5 catches to reach 1,000. He had 4. This was number 5 for the touchdown to get the 1,000 for his career. Just remarkable.
Stoney Case at quarterback, 1st and 10 at the 16.
Stoney Case is the Lions' new quarterback. They must be shell-shocked at this point. Larry Foster makes the catch. One of the great privileges of being in this business is being able to be part of something like this. It's great.
Well, we had a chance to see Jerry's. Now we get a chance to see Chris's. I was with Chris on the field before the game, and he started to swell up, and he looked at me and he said, it's really starting to hit me. And then he said, I feel like I'm out of my body watching all this. I can't believe it's real.
Stoney Case on the roll, throws underneath. Got the completion up near the 30. Paul, we've known Chris Carter for a lot of years. You like to see the good stuff happen to guys like Chris.
Yeah, you get a little emotional yourself. You know, and you're sitting there watching him. It was 10 minutes after this play happened, and he's still on the bench, and he's still emotional. He's crying about it. The impact on an individual, he is truly and genuinely a wonderful person. I mean, this guy is done it to his own self. He's turned his own life around, and he's one of the greatest receivers in the game.
Privilege for us to see it. Stewart. Nice hole for James Stewart and hard running up to the 48-yard line. His wife, Melanie, watching Chris as he was at 9.99. Here was the way she saw the 1,000th catch for the touchdown. They went through an awful lot of bad times together. We'll get into that as we go through the rest of the night. But they stuck it out. Chris turned his life around, as Paul said. It's been wonderful ever since. Stewart crosses midfield.
There's only one suggestion that I will make to Chris, though, when I see him. If you're going to hug and kiss your wife after someone, take your helmet off. Right. I mean, don't whack her in the mouth with the chin, barred. You know, daughter. I mean, you talk about you think he was in just a different state.
Well, you remember, he follows all the rules now. If you take your helmet off, it's a 15-yard penalty.
Congratulations, my friend. That's unbelievable.
And thanks for doing it in front of us, Chris. That's great. Stoney Case Throws over the middle, Herman Moore. They'll pick up about 5. Let's check in with Solomon Wilcott. Solly?
Yeah, Mike, approximately 15 minutes ago, the doctors took Charlie Batch into the locker room, and I was told he was going in to be fitted for a protective pad to protect those bruised ribs. Well, 15 minutes, that's an awful long time to change a pad. As you can see, he's not come back out. Stoney Case is in the game, and I think it's rather doubtful if we'll see Charlie Batch return to this football game, Mike.
All right, Solly, I know you'll keep us updated on this. The career numbers on Stoney Case. He has thrown 40 passes this season in relief of Charlie Batch. 3rd and 3 here. Case completes it to Larry Foster right at the sticks.
Well, we've seen Stoney Case, Joe, and he's thrown 3 or 4 balls, and he hasn't thrown a ball over 6 yards yet, and I don't think they're going to really let him unload with this ball. Well, just give the ball to James Stewart, take the short passes.
I think if the Vikings defense gives him the opportunity to go down the field, they will. But right now, he looks like he's throwing the ball very efficiently. Now he gets Larry Foster out on the sidelines. Larry doesn't quite get upfield enough, has to dive back, and it's going to be close as far as where they spot it. Tyrone Carter in the coverage.
Case has thrown 4, connected on all 4. Just shy, and a big decision here for Gary Moeller. He's not going to get that many opportunities, do you think?
No, I don't. And I think if you have a back like James Stewart, I think you use this guy. He's a hammer. Corey Schlesinger gives you a big guy up front. They can run the ball well. And defensively, the Vikings aren't real big on the edges with Talance Sawyer and John Randall.
Tell you one thing, Gary Moeller didn't even hesitate. And I like that in the coach.
Got 2 tight ends in the ball game.
The worst thing the Lions could do would be to spend a lot of time at the line of scrimmage. Get your big guys up there, get them ready to go and fire.
Quarterback keeper in Stoney Case appears to have more than enough for the first down.
Stoney Case on the keeper.
You can find out who's going where in college football on Sunday night at 6 p.m. Eastern, our College Football Tonight Bowl Selection Special. Join Chris Fowler, Lee Corso, and Kirk Herbstreit. They'll have the announcement of this year's bowl pairings in college football.
And the Lions come in with 4 wide receivers to spread the defense of the Vikings out.
Now they go with 5.
Got them all.
And Stoney Case will go to the shotgun. Case down the middle, intercepted. Right into the hands of Kyler Wong, the middle linebacker. There is a marker down. And a terrible underthrow by Stoney Case.
Personal foul. Offense number 73 with a face mask. Penalty is declined. First down.
It's the big rookie tackle, Stocker McDougal.
Yeah, but this was a terrible throw. He was trying to throw the ball to Desmond Howard going down the middle, and he didn't put anything on the ball.
Reception. First down.
Just floated it right down the middle. And Kylie Wong with a chance to shine. Right between the 5 and the 2. Part of St. Paul, Minnesota, one of the Twin Cities with Minneapolis decorated for Christmas. That's beautiful.
Well, now that Chris Carter has his 1,000th catch, time for Randy Moss to get one, I think.
Robert Smith drilled by Chris Claiborne.
The give is to Robert Smith.
Lions have to be shell-shocked right now. The starting quarterback is gone. 3/4 of their secondary is gone, and they're down 14-0 at Minnesota. The good news just keeps coming.
You see Jim Zorn, the quarterback coach, sitting with Stoney Case and going over the picture. What he's going to say is if they're back that far, don't throw it up the field.
Culpepper. For Moss, Incomplete. Darnell Walker was battling stride for stride.
Darnell Walker is 5'8". Randy Moss is 6'4". Look at the height advantage. Look at right there. You can see just the difference in their heights. Now, good hand fight. Good job by the officials letting the two guys battle. Randy does a terrific job of going up for the ball, but a lousy job of hanging on. He'll make 9 out of 10 catches like this. That was not difficult. And Walker almost winds up with an interception on the ground.
Matthew Hatcheton is the third wide receiver. They'll blow this one dead.
Chad. Prior to the snap, false start, offense, number 84. 5-yard penalty, still third down.
One thing so far about Culpepper, the longest completion he has is 9 yards. But that will change.
What it has, well, he's had Randy Moss down the field twice, and another injury is not going to be good for the Lions.
Oh, man. And this is their all-pro pass rusher, Robert Porcher. They're taking a look at his left leg. Boy, it is downhill for the Lions tonight. They may have jumped off sides. Debris got an early start. Here goes Culpepper. Claiborne takes him down. Looked like Matt Burke was trying to make the smart play with a man off sides trying to snap the ball early.
Debris on the bottom of the screen. He's looks like he moves. Look at Culpepper. He's looking out, and watch this here. You're going to see Culpepper looking, and here comes the ball. It was just heads up on his part to catch it.
Just a good thing he has a big body.
Boy, hit him in the chest.
Mitch Berger will punt to Desmond Howard, who's second in the NFL in punt returns. Won't get a chance at this one, and the Lions will have to start from the 20 after a 46-yard punt. 14-0. The Vikings are in control.
In 1951, Toyota introduced the Land Cruiser.
Owner Red McCombs brought back the 40th anniversary team this week. There's Jim Marshall, part of that incredible defense the Vikings had. Chuck Foreman, the great running back, wearing their original numbers. Alan Page, a Hall of Famer in 1988, has gone on to even greater things. Bates is the new running back, and he takes it up to about the 22-yard line.
You know, Mike, we're talking to Detroit. They really thought that they may be able, if they can keep some people healthy and on offense with Charlie Batch, they may be able to expose a little bit of this Minnesota defense. Joe, no one has really ever exposed them this year. I mean, I know they've got an awful lot of offense, but there are weaknesses in this defense.
Well, you know, but they haven't been exposed because of the explosive nature of what the offense can do.
Well, next week they'll play the Rams. Both of those defenses may be exposed. Stoney Case in a quarterback for Batch. Too high for Herman Moore, and he was being covered by Kenny Wright. And we're told that there has been a re-injury to the ribs of Charlie Batch, and that's awful news because he was in very tender shape all week.
We saw the first hit of the game that he took from Lance Sawyer. The first hit, he winds up taking a shot going down.
But all through the warm-ups, he didn't really throw any balls. He threw a couple about 10 yards, and then when they got the teams together, he did not take another snap.
Cedric Irvin, number 33, is in for Detroit. Herman Moore and Stoney Case arguing with each other about where Moore should be.
Get over there.
Case scrambles. Throws complete to Larry Foster. And the improvisation will get them a first down. Robert Griffith, one of the best safeties in the league, makes the stop.
Well, this really was a heads-up play by Stoney Case. Look at this. He's going to run. He sees Tate, number 28, coming up in his face. So he just dumps it to the outside to Foster, and they pick up the first down. They just got to keep this ball away from Minnesota.
There is Carl Eller, 15-year defensive end. Red McComb said they almost ignored their history here for a while, but after he bought the team, that's changed. Too high for Stabline.
You know what? It isn't like Stoney Case hadn't had a chance to throw the ball, Joe. There's Red McCombs, the owner. What a wonderful guy he is. Because Batch couldn't throw the ball until 2 days ago, so Stoney Case was able to throw some.
Of course, a big issue for Red is a stadium here. It seems like there's issues all over the league as far as stadiums go. Will they stay the Minnesota Vikings?
2nd and 10 for the Lions. Four-man rush. Screen. Great defense by John Burrow. Sniffed out the screen and was right in the middle of it. Monday Night Countdown every week at 7:30 Eastern. Mike Tirico and the gang review Sunday's top stories and preview the Monday night matchup. Then at 9, it's ABC's Monday Night Football with the Kansas City Chiefs taking on Drew Bledsoe and the New England Patriots. Lions 3rd and 7 at their own 40. Clock running, 6:40 and counting first half. Case throws underneath, short of a first down to Foster.
And this is one I don't believe you go for, even if it's a yard or so.
Considering all the things that have happened to them, really, Joe, they're not in that bad shape at 14-0.
No, and you know, Randy Moss lets a touchdown pass get away, which changes the score. You know, the Lions seem like the longer they can hang in here, the more confidence they might get.
And they've been coming after Jet. Now, you got to remember, Jet's been blocked twice this year, and so has the field goal been blocked twice. They've been coming right up the middle.
Walter stands inside his 15. Don't put much pressure on this time. Walters from the 6. Trying to get to the outside. Now cuts it back and can't reach the 10. 3-yard return after a punt of 48. And the Vikings, even though they're up 14-0, will start in a hole. Why not log on to NFL.com and vote for the Pro Bowl? There are the top 3 through December 8th. Randy Moss, Dante Culpepper, both of Minnesota, and Peyton Manning for 162,000. Vikings start from their 9. Culpepper, Moss, knocked away.
Alan Aldridge, nice defensive move.
Good linebackers with Aldridge, Boyd, and Claiborne on this club. And it was an excellent secondary. They're only missing 3/4 of them tonight because of injury.
They're all really big, too. Claiborne and Aldridge both go over 255, and Boyd's actually the smallest in the middle at 240.
But a wicked hitter. He made the Pro Bowl a year ago. Lions have always had a tradition of middle linebackers. 2nd and 10, Smith. To the 12. Chris Carter, although he's had that brilliant career early in it, was not all that productive when he played with the Philadelphia Eagles coming out of Ohio State. From 87 to 92, only averaged 40 catches a year. But from 93 to 2000, after he put his life together, he has caught more balls than anyone in the National Football League, averaging 94 a year, over 1,100 yards a year, and 11 touchdowns
a year.
And he hit 1,000 tonight. Third and 7, Culpepper scrambling. Throws out in the flat to his tight end, Johnny McWilliams, stopped in his tracks by Corwin Brown. Of course, the future of Chris Carter has been in doubt. He met with Dennis Green in private, said they reached a decision on next year, but they're not telling anybody.
I think he's coming back.
So do I, and so does Red McCombs, who just owns the team.
I just believe that the game means so much to him, and I think he means a lot to Dennis Green. And I think Coach Green wants him to be a part of this football team.
And he's got an awful lot of football left, that's obvious. Berger with a line shot. Howard makes the fair catch at the 25. Chris Carter was a two-time All-American at Ohio State, but he'd been into drugs and alcohol since high school, problems that escalated when he was in Columbus. Then he took money under the table from two agents and nearly went to jail for covering it up. The incident was so bad, Ohio State banned him from his senior year. He went pro with the Eagles, had immediate success there, and even though he married his longtime girlfriend Melanie, his party lifestyle deepened. More time and more money, he said. He failed 2 drug tests in Philadelphia, and Buddy Ryan cut him. But to his everlasting credit, Ryan never divulged the reason, saying instead the now famous line, all he does is catch touchdowns. Case over the middle of Morton. He's got it out to the 43. When he left Philadelphia and his son Duran was born in 1991, Chris Carter said he remembered what growing up with one parent did to him and pledged it would never happen to his son. Later, he and his wife dedicated their lives to Christianity. He would later become an ordained minister. The drugs and alcohol disappeared from his life. Chris Carter is far more than a reformed addict. He has won numerous awards, including the top, the NFL's Walter Payton Man of the Year Award. His wife, Melanie, they stuck it out together and have turned it into something special. Herman Moore to the 48-yard line. His kids, Duran and Monterey, after catch number 1,000. Sometimes it takes a watershed event like the birth of a child to turn somebody's life around. That's what it took for Chris Carter. Now he is a role model for people in trouble. Case trying to get something on the board. Stay blown. Diving for extra yardage and a flag down. That'll be a late hit.
And that's by Robert Griffith, just trying to be a little bit too aggressive on his 30th birthday.
In the meantime, the Minnesota Vikings 14-point lead, but they're not
Personal
putting...
foul, defense, number 24, unnecessary roughness, 15-yard penalty, first down.
And they are not putting any pressure at all on Stoney Case, and they're just letting him throw the ball short whenever he wants to throw. Here comes the hit by Robert Griffith. Right here, when he hits him in the head. He went helmet to helmet, and they called it. It's a good call.
You bring up the point that the Vikings have not been able to put any pressure on Stoney Case. What they're doing is they're spreading them out and really letting that large offensive line of theirs just line up and block the 4 guys rushing. I think Minnesota's going to have to come after him to create pressure.
Case, play action again. They've got him this time. Chris Hovan, the rookie out of Boston College, the first man through.
That's a 4-man rush. They ran a play-action pass, and when Stoney Case turned around, Hovan was there.
And did you see the first guy to jump up and celebrate with Hovan? It's John Randall. John Randall is so excited about the fact that Chris Hovan is playing in the middle because it allows him to get outside, which he really has come to like. There's the play action, just beats him right at the line of scrimmage. Jeff Hardings didn't stand a chance. There it is. There's the celebration from his buddy.
Hovan used to paint his face like John Randall when he was at Boston College. Now they're together with Minnesota. Jerry Rice, until tonight, the only man to catch 1,000 passes in the NFL. He has been joined tonight by Chris Carter. He'll be part of Chris Berman's halftime show, the Hyundai halftime show, our Sports Center in-game segment. And the other headline, Mike Mussina signing with the Yankees.
I promise you, Chris is still sitting there on the bench just thinking, what is happening to me?
He keeps looking up at that sign that says 1,000 catches.
Case, the shovel pass to Mario Bates, not much, as the Lions are desperate to get back in this thing, down to 1 minute and 50 seconds and a half.
What the Lions should do now is let a lot of the time run off the clock. Try and get it down close to a minute, probably be about 1 minute and 5 seconds before you snap it. Let Gary Moeller's team get in position to give him an opportunity to try and kick a field goal and get some points on the ball. If they go in at halftime down 14-3, that's not real bad.
3rd and 16. From here, it would be a 51, 52-yard field goal try for Hansen. Pressure coming. Case, did Irvin catch it? No, he didn't. The official right on top of it. So now what will Gary Moeller do? Try for the long field goal or go on 4th and 16?
Well, Tony Case, he was feeling Chris Hovan breathing down his neck, and he wanted to throw the ball, but he never got himself set to throw it.
Now, Jason Hansen, look at the career percentage from inside 50. He's 1 for 1 this year from outside 50.
This will be from 52. He's hit a 54-yarder this year.
You see what the official did? He came in and changed the ball because in the National Football League there are kicking balls now.
Hansen drills it. Perfect from 52, and the Lions are on the board. This ESPN NFL Thursday Night Special is brought to you by 1-800-COLLECT, the easy way to save. And by Toyota, more choices, better selection. Experience Toyota today. Glad you could join us on a Thursday night from the Metrodome in Minneapolis. The Lions wait until a minute 12 on the second quarter clock to get on the board, but they're only down by 11.
You know,
Bud Grant, the legendary coach of the Vikings. Remember all the times they played outdoors in the snow and the ice.
And looking at him right there, it looks like he's ready to step up on the sidelines and coach. That with the hat, the sweatshirt, all ready to go.
He's ready to go fishing. He's been fishing, and he looks good fishing. If fishing does that to you, I'm going fishing.
Hall of Famer.
But doesn't it kind of seem like the steam has gone out of everything? Carter gets 1,000 catches, and it just like...
It was a huge moment, and I think it did take the air out of this place.
They had a chance to keep it going, but Randy Moss let it slip literally through his fingers.
Troy Walters is the deep man as Hansen to kick it off. Crushes one. Walters 4 yards deep. He'll keep it there. In case you joined us late, you missed a bit of NFL history as Chris Carter reached the 1,000 catch mark. The corner of the end zone for a touchdown to join Jerry Rice in a very exclusive two-man club. His wife Melanie and the kids celebrating. Something he will never forget, and now he's starting to work on 1,100.
And by the way, that was a heck of a throw by Dante.
Yes, it was.
It was an excellent throw by him.
So the Vikings have a minute 12 from their own 15. Culpepper underneath. Not much from McWilliams. Looking toward the bench, see if they want to kill the clock or keep going.
Vikings have 2 timeouts left.
Four-man rush for Detroit. Culpepper underneath to Smith. Very dangerous in the middle of that field. Clock continues to run at the 38. First catch of the night for Smith, and Minnesota will use 1 timeout. They have 1 left.
When you've got this kind of an offense, you got inside of a minute, and you're up like 14-3, up by 11 points, you don't stop. I mean, this team can score on every single play.
Well, I think what Detroit is doing to this offense is they're keeping everybody in front of them, which they have to do.
The standings, the importance of this game, particularly for the Lions. If they lose, they would drop 3 games behind Minnesota, and the race would be over, and the Vikings would clinch a playoff spot and move closer to home field advantage. They would be the first team in the NFL to clinch a spot in the playoffs this year.
You know what's kind of amazing? There was a little note this week. 8 and 4 teams after 12 weeks, or 13 weeks with the bye, but after 12 weeks, 8 and 4 teams in the National Football League. That's the most ever. There are 8 of them with 8 and 4 or better in the National Football League. I mean, that's incredible.
It's going to go down the last week. Culpepper sideline to Moss, keeps the feet in and then drops out of bounds to stop the clock at the 48.
Well, style points aren't exactly as good as what Chris Carter does, but it was just as effective.
The Russian judge gives it a 3.5.
What's this? This isn't falling out of bounds. This is sitting out of bounds. Ready? Okay, I got it. Hello. Randy's got his own style.
At their 49.
36 seconds left. Need about another 20 yards to give Anderson a shot at it. 3-man rush this time. Culpepper again complete inside the 40. Matthew Hatchett makes the catch. Supernaw with the tackle. Culpepper says they want to kill it. And now pushing and shoving with the clock stopped at 20.
We talk about the poise and why Denny Green chose Dante Culpepper. You saw him rush to the line of scrimmage. And here he has poise in the pocket to make the play. And after Matthew Hatchett catches this, he gets to the line of scrimmage. But before he snaps the ball, he looks where all his receivers are set just to make sure they're still and then kill them.
An excellent discipline by the rest of the team to get set that quickly. Carter, 1,001, dives forward to the 32. One timeout left for the Vikings. They'll take it with 12 seconds to go. And here's Dennis Green with more of the qualities of Dante Culpepper.
What he wants to do is be champion. He would love to win a bunch of world champions, not just one. He wants to win a bunch of them because that's his total mindset. What he brings to that mindset is tremendous athletic ability. He's a very big, a very physical player. He throws one of the most beautiful passes you've ever seen. And I think he's the type of guy that you love to work with because you know he wants to be the best.
And in his first year as a starter, 26 touchdown passes, ties him with Peyton Manning for #1 in the NFL. What an amazing first year.
You know, there's no timeouts left for Minnesota. And what happens is they have 12 seconds on the clock. They still have time, Joe, to go to the end zone with one play.
Well, what I would do here is,
sideline.
well, it'd be tougher to go to the sideline. You only have 5 yards to get the first down. I'd look for Chris Carter on one of those little turn routes of his, possibly. Get him the ball, jump up, and then ground it, because then you would be able to have the opportunity to kick a field goal a little closer.
Three-man rush, plenty of time. They go sideline. Moss made the catch at the 22.
Now that was something from the teacher.
You see a lot of Chris Carter in Randy Moss. Around his head. Look at it. Let's go. Let's go. Watch his throw to the outside. Randy Moss. The catch. Control. Out of bounds.
Now this gives Gary Anderson a much better shot at it. This will be 48 yards. Anderson, the all-time leading scorer and field goal kicker in NFL history. He's having a great year. And it continues. Gary Anderson has hit 21 of 22 field goal tries this season. And the Vikings get their 14-point lead back. Nice 2-minute drill by Dante Culpepper.
Nice job of managing the clock and the timeouts. Watch the things that Randy Moss has learned from Chris Carter. There it is on the sidelines. You see him keep the feet in. And remember, just having control. Now here he is on the sidelines on the right side. Feet in. Really, plant your feet first. Then go out and extend to catch the ball.
Randy Moss really couldn't have come into a better situation. A veteran team with a guy like Chris Carter who was willing to give him all the knowledge that he's accumulated over those seasons.
I don't want to take anything away from Chris Carter, but I believe that Randy Moss was more mature when he came into this game than a lot of people gave him credit for. He knew he wanted to be a star. He knew he could dominate in this game. He just happened to be in the perfect situation. Strong-arm quarterbacks he had with both Randall Cunningham as well as Jeff George, now Dante Culpepper.
Anderson to kick it away, only 4 seconds on the clock, and he'll squib it. And the Lions fall on it at the 38-yard line, bodies flying, and the clock has yet to move. Melanie enjoying the night with her husband, Chris.
You know, it looks like you look in their eyes of both of them, and this happened a long time ago, about a half hour or so ago, and it's almost like they really still don't believe that it's happened. And I don't think they're going to really feel the emotional impact until maybe sometime tomorrow, the next day.
Yeah, I think it might start sinking in then, and a watershed event for them to know and look back at what has happened over the course of their lives together. This is certainly one of the crowning achievements for it.
There's a safety, Randy Moss, now playing defense.
Case will have one last try. Throws short. Herman Moore with the lateral to Foster. The hook and ladder, they keep it going, and now the Vikings come up with a football on the last play of the first half. Chris Carter walking toward Melanie. Some night for that family. That's the end of the first half. The score, the Vikings 17, the Lions 3. Now let's join Chris Berman for SportsCenter in Game, the Hyundai halftime show.
All right, Michael, thank you very much.
And have millions of people watching. When I do play, you know, like when I play in tonight's game, I'm one game and have millions of people watching. When I do play, you know, like when I play in tonight's game, I'm one game closer to retirement.
The quest for 1,000 is over. Chris Carter making the catch in the corner of the end zone. Career grab number 1,000. And the emotion and love poured forth from 65,000 on hand tonight, including his biggest fan, his wife, Melanie. Special moment for them, everyone here, and a national television audience. And we're just delighted we could share it.
Kind of neat, man.
Yeah, it sure was. Now they've accomplished that goal. What they have ahead of them is becoming the first team to clinch a playoff spot. A win tonight would do just that and would give them a big 3-game lead in the division.
And I think they have to try and put Detroit away in this quarter. I don't think you can let them hang around and, you know, maybe move the ball, maybe make a play. Denny Green's offense has got to get on track right now and try and put them away.
Considering their injury situation, it's amazing that the Lions are only down by 14. They've lost Charlie Batch. 3/4 of their starting secondary is gone. Troy Walters from the goal line. Across the 20. Moments ago, our Solomon Wilcots had a chance to talk with Lions coach Gary Moeller.
Coach, for Charlie Batch out with the rib injury, how prepared is Stoney Case to run the offense, and do you try to do anything differently with him?
Well, no, we reduce it a little bit because the second-year guy, second-team guy doesn't know everything. You know, we have to reduce it a little bit. But we can play better, and we're going to play better. Our kids have given a good effort. We just got to be a little smarter.
Okay, thanks. Back up to you, Ryan.
All right, Solomon, thanks very much. Gary Moeller has not lost a game as the Lions head coach, replacing Bobby Ross. He is 3-0, but he's down 14 in this one. Robert Smith hit the line of scrimmage and swallowed up by James Jones.
Well, the other thing about Gary Moeller, when he first got the job, because of his college references, he started referring to the veterans as upperclassmen. And now you look at his secondary, and he's got a bunch of sophomores out there, if you put it in those terms.
And maybe a redshirt freshman. That's Darnell Walker. He's in his 8th year. He's an upperclassman. Kywin Supernaw in his 3rd year. He'd be the redshirt freshman. Culpepper with plenty of time. completes it to Johnny McWilliams, and Stephen Boyd, the middle linebacker, made the tackle, but it's a gain of 19.
Boy, Dante Culpepper has all the weapons. Wide receivers, you got a running back, Robert Smith, and then when everything else is covered, why not just dump it over the middle to Johnny McWilliams, your tight end, who happens to be wide open. There's Stephen Boyd making a tackle, but that's a first down.
Been a brilliant job so far by that front line of the Minnesota Vikings in protecting Culpepper. Wants the screen, but it's shut down, so Culpepper takes off. Pushed out of bounds by Alan Aldridge. One of the first couple stats, and they're a little surprising. Much closer than you would expect in the 17-3 game. Actually, the total yards only 24 yards apart, but those two Lions turnovers and a great play by Troy Walters on a kick.
And when you think about the Vikings this year, they're a football team that has had to play 4 quarters, and it's really been the big play that has given them the opportunities. And that one came on a special teams play so far in this game.
2 tight ends, 2 wide receivers. And Smith the setback behind Culpepper. Robert Smith will get the carry, and he's nailed. Couldn't get out of the backfield. Claiborne came through a gap to make the stop.
You know, over the last 5 seasons of the Detroit Lions, when they've lost the turnover battle, in 5 seasons, they're 1-27.
Not good.
Well, they've given it up twice tonight. Minnesota, nothing.
Of course, if you want to look on the bright side, that one was against the Vikings.
Larry Peccatello just masterfully trying to move people around and make calls to get his players in position when he's short his starters.
Porcher was out a few plays earlier. He was hurt. 3rd and 10 for the Vikings. Culpepper again with good protection, throws incomplete. The only guy within 15 yards was Alan Aldridge, and I don't think he was the intended receiver.
Now, Randy Moss was, but he was running towards the end zone.
Randy Moss broke the pattern because he felt he had one-on-one, and this is a liberty that he's given. If he thinks he can get on top, he will try and take somebody one-on-one. In this case, it's Walker. See, he just sort of partially throws his hand in the air. That's usually an indicator, but Dante wasn't ready for it. And Aldridge couldn't quite get up high enough.
Berger launches one into the end zone. He just crushed it from 58 yards from the goal line, knocked it into the end zone, and the Lions will start from their 20 when we come back. Lead in the NFC Central, clinch a playoff spot, and get ever so close to home field advantage. They would go to 11-2. And Detroit would fall 3 games back after losing the season series to the Vikings. Stewart cuts it back across the 25 to the 28. Let's go to Solomon Wilcox, the original scrambler, Fran Tarkenton.
Yeah, Mike, Hall of Fame quarterback Fran Tarkenton is also a member of the Vikings' 40th anniversary team. And Fran, I understand you don't make it a habit to get out to too many functions. What compelled you to do so tonight?
This is home. I played the first game the Vikings played 40 years ago, 1961. It's good to come back to this.
Well, you played with some great players during your 13 seasons here in Minnesota. What do you think it would be like, and how much fun would it be to throw passes to Chris Carter and Randy Moss?
Good, but I had Ahmad Rashad and Sammy White, and they were pretty good.
And you were pretty good also. Let's send it back to you, Mike.
All right, thanks. Solomon Schlesinger will get the first down for the Lions.
A lot of us little guys owe Fran Tarkenton an awful lot because, you know, people said you're too small to play in this game. He wasn't.
Culpepper has just eliminated one of Tarkenton's records from the Viking history book. He has rushed for 381 yards this year. Tarkenton had held the record at 376. Also at second place at 361.
And quarterbacks have run for more yards this year, over 5,000 than any time in history already.
Stewart. And you know what the Lions are feeling? We need to grind this out. Get good field position, pick up a field goal here, a touchdown there. We're right in the ball game. Maybe something will happen.
They need a touchdown. They don't need any field goals. I'll tell you the one thing about today earlier is watching Joe with Fran Tarkenton. Spent a lot of time with Fran. You know why? Because he's taller than Frank. He's the only other quarterback. You're taller than. Right. Joe said, come on, hang around with me for a while. Let's walk around down on the field.
Gary Moeller over on the sidelines telling his defensive guys, you know, hang in there. We'll make a play.
2nd and 6 for Detroit. Morton reached behind him to make the catch. Johnny Morton to the 49. Great pair of hands there. Peyton made the tackle. Let's take you back to the 60s when they played at Old Metropolitan Stadium. Francis Tarkenton. He would drive guys crazy. And he ran to throw the ball, always looking downfield.
Fear is a great motivator.
Case blitz coming. Throws another completion. This time to Foster, is seeing more and more action as the season rolls along. Kenny Wright, who was in at a starting corner because they cut Chris Dishman.
I'll tell you what's happening. This offensive line, they're giving him lanes to throw the ball. Look at Stoney Case step back. Now watch, he's got a lane to throw the ball. Here's Foster. He picks up 8 yards on the play. But this offensive line, what a great job they're doing.
The other thing I like to see is he's throwing the ball with some pace and some zip. The one interception he threw sort of hung up in the middle.
They have reached the Viking 43. First down. Check it. 2nd down. Case again. Can't get away from Randall. John Randall got him at the 45-yard line.
Oh, John Randall gets to the outside. And Stoney Case really has no place to go. Look at John Randall. You talk about hustling. Watch his speed. Now he sees he's got a quarterback. Watch him close.
Yeah, if I'm going to run a bootleg, it's not going to be a John Randall. Talking to John about Chris Carter, you know, he said, Chris Carter is the captain of our football team, and people want me to take a captain's role. He says, no, I'm just a sergeant. I let Chris designate to me to take care of my guys on the line.
It's a sack for John Randall, an undrafted free agent out of Texas A&M. Case. Intended for Foster, incomplete. Kenny Wright was there.
John Randall. Boy, you just love to watch the energy he plays with. Here he comes on the outside, and he's had to learn to play in up against Barrett Brooks. You see the pressure, making Stoney Case get rid of the football.
So the Lions have to kick it away after driving from their own 20. Walters trying to throw a block and does a good job and allows the ball to kick into the end zone. A 44-yard punt, but a net of only 24. The Vikings remain in control at home. They're up 17-3. .7:49 to go, third quarter. The Vikings on top of the Lions here at the Metrodome, 17-3. And the Vikings will take over at their own 20. Randy Moss, a quiet night. Human numbers, 3 catches, only 26 yards. Can it last? Smith, 5-6 yards until Boyd helps bring him down. Normally what he has done against this division, not indicated by those earlier stats, 3 catches for 26 yards, he has eaten the NFC Central alive, averaging 100 yards a game and nearly 19 yards a catch. That's in 22 games.
About 23 touchdowns in 22 games.
The only man since 1967 to average 100 yards against conference opponents. Culpepper scrambling against division opponents, excuse me. Claiborne knocks Culpepper out of bounds. And you see when he scrambles how that size is a benefit.
It's such a benefit.
You get hit by somebody like Alan Aldridge or a Claiborne, and you just sort of slide out of bounds.
He was tied coming in with Rich Gannon for rushing first downs with 28. He's already had 2 tonight. But this is the versatility that he brings. Mike, you talk about the size. He's also quite quick. And he heads out of bounds and just bounces off a linebacker.
Smith made a couple of nice cuts to pick up 4. Robert Porcher and Chris Claiborne on the tackle.
I think Robert Porcher is a little quiet. Well, he's got Corey Stringer blocking on him, but down that last play, Robert Porcher just really did a good job. He held up Corey Stringer, and he had to try to find Robert Smith. It's very hard to hold up a guy that's bigger than you are. Watch Robert Porcher here when he's just on Corey Stringer. It's just unbelievable. Here he is, Corey Stringer, 77. Look at this. He's trying to find Robert Smith. He goes back to the outside, and it ends up making the tackle. Good play.
Robert Porcher only 2 sacks short of Bubba Baker's all-time Lions record. Smith, he runs so hard for his 215 pounds.
The thing about Robert Smith is he'll do this in a game. He'll go 14, 15 carries, and then all of a sudden, wham, right through the line, 60 yards, put a spike in your heart. He did it against Chicago in a game that we had.
And he has just passed Edgerrin James for the NFL lead in rushing, up to 1,325 yards. One of the big reasons he's been healthy this year. Culpepper scrambles. Stephen Boyd pinned him at the 45, but he's got the first down. Scroggins got a hand on a leg, but Culpepper's so strong and so agile.
He just showed you how strong he is. That's the thing that Joe was talking about. You've got a guy that's 266 pounds running with the football, going forward, and you're going to try and stop him? I don't think so. Watch this. 97 is Tracy Scroggins, and he's not that small either. And look at Culpepper pick up the first down. That's strength.
6'4", 266. He is the modern prototype for a quarterback. Joe, what were you as a rookie?
I was a toy model. A miniature.
Culpepper all day. For Moss, way underthrown. Corwin Brown with the interception.
Now that's just a case of Dante Culpepper thinking that he has superhuman abilities to throw the ball down the field.
The Lions get a turnover, and they'll have it when we come back. It's the Hennepin Avenue Bridge in Minneapolis, and those overhead shots are provided by the Yahoo Sports Aerial Cam. Stewart, the deep man in the eye, they take over at the 3. Trying to get a little operating room, and Stewart gives them more than that all the way out to the 11. Let's go to Solomon Wilcots.
Yeah, Mike, I'm joined by another Vikings great, former running back, Chuck Foreman. And Chuck, you held the Vikings all-time leading rushing record for 22 years, and Robert Smith comes along and breaks their record. But understand, you were rooting for him all along.
Actually, I certainly was. Robert had 2 reconstructive knee surgeries, and he's been a phenomenal running back the last 4 or 5 years, and he deserves that record. I'm glad he's the guy that broke it. He is truly not only a great player, but a great person, and that's what makes it special.
So much has been said about Red McCombs bringing all the old players back and creating a sense of family here. Give me your impressions of what it's been like this past week with all the celebrations going on.
Well, it's been a great event, of course. Red McCombs, what can we say about him? He came in here and he brought us back into the family. Before, it felt like we were kicked out. But now we're back in, and he understands the history of the Vikings. He understands my teammates over here and myself. We're a part of the tradition. And to bring that back and give us the honors that he gave us today, I think is truly tells us what kind of a man he is.
All right, Chuck. Well, thanks for joining us. Let's go back up to you, Mike.
All right, Solomon, thanks very much. And Stewart, again, runs into his own man and gets it up to the 18-yard line. And it goes to show you what a guy like Red McCombs can do. A true gentleman, a man that comes in here and buys his football team, gives them what they need to have, and just changes the atmosphere totally.
I know, and we've talked a lot about what Red's team has done in the Vikings and Dennis Green, what he's done as a coach. But I'll tell you, the Detroit Lions are showing a lot of mettle. They're making plays. They haven't allowed the Vikings to get any big plays in this game other than on the kick return. They're coming out of the end zone now, putting some first downs together.
They're doing it without their starting quarterback, Charlie Batch, who re-injured his ribs. Starting Case at the helm, and Case completes this one to Morton, and Morton will have a first down up the 27-yard line. ESPN Sunday Night Football at 8:30 Eastern, featuring the NFL's oldest and most storied rivalry. Brett Favre and the Green Bay Packers head to Soldier Field to battle rookie sensation Brian Urlacher and the Chicago Bears. Coverage starts at 7:30 with prime time.
First and 10.
Well,
the 27.
It's got to be a small group.
And you had, did you have them in English class?
Yes, I did.
You were in a class with them.
Case, a quick out, incomplete intended from Morton.
One of the things Detroit's been doing this whole night, and we got the Chris Carter thing going, all the 40th anniversary team back here. But this Detroit team, Joe, they just keep moving the ball down the field. And if they get one break and one big play, they're within the touchdown of the Minnesota Vikings. They just have not been able to put the complete drive together. They've gone 40, 50, 60 yards, but that's about it.
Sly Kroom, the offensive coordinator, longtime assistant to Bobby Ross. Stoney Case, cut down at the 31. Speaking of owners, William Clay Ford of the Lions said something very nice this week. He said, if Bobby Ross is sitting at home watching the game, I hope he feels like he's still part of this, because he is. I thought that was a very classy thing for Mr. Ford to say. Signed Gary Moeller to a 3-year contract. The Lions on third down have been brutal. 1 for 7.
I think this
right now they face 3rd and 6.
And I think this is where Herman Moore. Herman Moore can be like a Chris Carter for this offense. You got to give him a chance to make the play for you.
4-man rush. Case has the completion. Johnny Morton makes the catch up at the 49. There's a marker down on the play. Back at the line of scrimmage.
Motion.
It's going to be an illegal shift, so they finally hit on a 3rd down, only their 2nd tonight, and it comes back.
Illegal shift on the offensive team. Number 86 was going in motion as a defender was going down. 5-yard penalty. Still 3rd down.
I don't think he meant the defender going down.
I think he
meant an offensive lineman going down.
That's David Sloan, the tight end. I don't know what a defender would have to do with it, but just a little misstep there.
It's all in the terminology, Mike.
Yes, it is. Now it's 3rd and 11 for the Lions. Under a minute to go, 3rd quarter. Case, Morton, can he get the 1st down? Lost the ball. Now they're going to say it's down. There's no fumble. Larry Foster made the catch, struggles for extra yardage, but can't get there. Nearly lost the football. Quite an effort by the rookie out of LSU.
Again, comes up just a little bit short, trying to work for the extra yards. Thibodeau comes up, makes the hit on him. Now, if I'm the Vikings, I'm going to throw that little red flag out, or I'm going to hit the buzzer.
They did.
I'm going to do something to let them know we'd like to take a look at that.
From the initial replay, I thought his knee was down when the ball came loose. But it's worth a shot, because this could certainly turn the game around.
Not only is it worth a shot, but it's going to be overturned, and I do believe the Vikings will get possession of the ball. Watch how he makes the play now. See, his knee never hits the ground. His arm keeps him up.
On the field was that the player was down by contact. That is not a reviewable play. 4th down.
That is a shame. And I really feel like they have to do something. That down by contact has basically replaced the whistle.
The inadvertent
whistle. They just changed the terminology. There's no question that this is a fumble. There's absolutely no question. And I don't know why the official would blow the whistle that quickly and call him down by contact.
Joe, you were absolutely right. That was a fumble, and now Jet will punt it away. Walters Poor kick by Jet, but it gets a great bounce. Somehow it stayed in bounds a long time. So the Lions get a break on the no call on the fumble, and then they get a break on a 56-yard punt. But the Vikings still lead it.
Physically was...
Dan Patrick and Steve Levy standing by with SportsCenter. Can the Saints deal with success? The other top stories of the day. They'll be along after our broadcast. Robert Smith. Great cutback up to the 20. There's a marker down back at the 12-yard line in the area usually reserved for holding, and that's what it will be. So Smith loses a big carry.
David Dixon, number 71, held hands up in disgust.
Holding. Offense number 71. Half the distance to the goal. Repeat, first down.
So the Vikings will be in an even bigger hole when we start the fourth quarter from the Metrodome. Back after this. This ESPN NFL Thursday Night Special is brought to you by Land Rover. Come see what a Land Rover is made of. In the Twin Cities of Minneapolis, St. Paul under the Metrodome.
Well, in that third quarter, the Minnesota Vikings, 11 plays is all they had. 3 passes, 1 was intercepted, and 8 runs.
They have become very conservative. Culpepper under pressure. Intercepted. Picked up by Alan Aldridge. The second turnover, the second pick for Dante Culpepper.
Sometimes all you see is the interception, but you don't see the effort of Tracy Stroggins making him do that. Number 55, Alan Aldridge, has been close a couple times. There he is. You're going to see him go back into coverage, and Dante's going to get grabbed just as he tries to get rid of it. Stroggins comes in hanging all over him. Nice catch. Nice job. Now put the ball away, Allen.
And this is critical for the Lions. They need a touchdown. Their defense has picked them up all year long with the turnover. They lead the NFL. Play action by Case. Inside the 5. Got away from Robert Griffith, but not John Randall.
Good decision. They went with the play action, tried to sell it. One receiver route. Doesn't get a chance to feel like he can let it go, and then pulls it down. There's the play action. Johnny Morton in the middle, trying to hook back up. Really bracketed, and Stoney does a good job. Now who else has he got? Maybe James Stewart. Can you throw it back across your body? Don't do it. Good decision.
Stewart to the goal line. Touchdown.
Oh, man.
What a block by Schlesinger.
Oh, Schlesinger. I mean, he went up in the hole, and James Stewart knew exactly where to go. Number 30 is Corey Schlesinger, and watch him block. He's got one job, to get to the end zone. Kylie Wong, number 52, is there, and he just knocks him out of the hole, and this is a touchdown. What a beautiful play.
Schlesinger out of Nebraska throws the key block. Stewart gets the touchdown, his 9th rushing touchdown of the season, and Hansen can make it a 7-point game. Stewart with the score. The Lions are back in it, and Tracy Stroggins was one of the guys who set it up with his rush.
NHL Tonight, Tuesday through Saturday on ESPN2.
And the fumble that wasn't really helped here in the fourth quarter as Larry Foster caught a pass, struggling for extra yards to get the first down. The replay shows conclusively that the ball came loose before his knees touched down. It would have been Vikings football deep in Detroit territory, but they ruled down by contact.
And the officials have been asked not to try and blow the whistle in such a hurry.
Then after the turnover, Stewart on Alan Aldridge's interception gets the touchdown. Hansen with a kick. Walters bobbles it. He'll keep it there. So the Vikings, who have seemingly dominated this game from the very start and had the huge celebration for Carter's 1,000th catch, are in a game. Minnesota Vikings need a win tonight to become the first NFL team to clinch a playoff spot. It is now problematic. Their second turnover of the ballgame has let the Lions back in, and it's only a 7-point game.
You know, everybody got caught up in Chris Carter getting 1,000 catches. He got 1,001, and they haven't thrown the ball to him since he caught that one. I think you better go back to Chris Carter.
And when you look at the Detroit Lions and how they won 8 games before tonight, they've done it scoring touchdowns on short fields. When they've had the opportunity, they put it in. They did it against the Giants. We saw it again on Thanksgiving Day. This has been the way the Giants have played, a full 60 minutes of football. Excuse me, the Lions have played.
Let's see how the Vikings can respond now that they have been challenged here in the fourth quarter. 13:52 to go in the ballgame. Culpepper wants to throw on first down, has it batted down in his face by Porsche. Robert Porsche having an impact here in the second half.
Robert Porsche getting Corey Stringer to back up a little bit, using the bull rush. Then when he knows he can't get there, jumps up in the air. I really believe the Vikings have to have one major thing happen. They've got to get Chris Carter involved back in this game, and they've got to try and make a big play with Randy Moss.
Smith cuts it back, runs into traffic, taken down to 22. Kywin Supernaw made the tackle.
The reason I say that is you know that this secondary of the Detroit Lions is decimated. I mean, they've got second and third string guys in there. Guys that play nickel are now playing starting corners. You know, you've got Darnell Walker at one corner, 5'8". Terry Fair at the other. Lamar Campbell. I mean, you've got guys that don't play a lot, and you're playing right into their hands by just running the football.
They're missing 3 of the 4 starters. Westbrook was hurt tonight early in the ballgame. Schultz and Rice were already injured. Big third down here. Culpepper throws. Walsh has it at the 34.
Young quarterbacks tend to lock into receivers, but not this one. He plays like a veteran. Looks over the field, waits for the receiver to settle in the hole, and then makes the delivery.
Have a couple of nice possession receivers on this club. Walsh and Hatchett. Really a compliment to the big guys on the outside. Smith, here comes the blitz. He runs right through the hole created by it across midfield. Ball comes loose. Did they rule it dead? They did. A gain of 19 for Smith.
Boy,
Detroit gambled, and they left a big hole there, Paul.
Oh, that was a great job. James Jones gets smothered, and that's where the hole opens up. And when they knock him out of the hole, look at number 98 is James Jones. See him, he takes himself out. Not only does he take himself out, but Matt Burke, the center, number 78, just takes him down the line. They get excellent blocking right at the point of attack, and then Robert Smith is already in the secondary.
Well, if you're going to run a stunt like that, somebody better fill that hole.
Let me tell you, that was another fumble that wasn't called.
Mo Williams to give Smith a breather.
I'd like to
take a look at it.
I'm going to show you. This was another fumble that was ruled down by contact. Watch this. He gets hit. There he is, up in the air. They come in and try and strip it away. That ball is out. That is a fumble. And these officials are not doing a very good job of letting the players play football. Those calls should not be missed by officials.
Well, that one is really hard not to see.
This crew gets a D- as far as I'm concerned, if you want to rate them tonight.
Give them an F.
No. They're still working, so I can't count them out completely.
2 huge calls, one that went the way of each team. Culpepper throws it behind a receiver, nearly picked again, and a flag is down. Scott Kowalkowski nearly had that interception, and the signal is a hold against Minnesota.
holding offense, number 63, 10-yard penalty. Still second down.
Corbin Lucina, number 63. Shake his head no. Yes, Corbin. Yes. Narity. All right, look at it. Here's the guy that throws the flag. Corbin Lucina, number 63. On writing a screen, you think this isn't holding? Look at his arms around his neck. That's James Jones. And he's the guy that threw the flag. I guess you do see that.
And Sherm Lewis told me yesterday, the offensive coordinator of the Vikings, he said one of the problems we've had all year is converting first downs after we have been penalized. They're in that situation now.
2nd and 19. 4 wide receivers on the field. Underneath to Carter. Contact out of bounds, and Chris Carter has his foot in the chest of Kywin Supernaw.
You know what I'm saying? I've been sitting here watching this game and trying to figure out why everything's so dead. Well, Chris Carter, I said we got to go back to him after he caught 101. Here comes Chris Carter on Supernaw. Now, does he hit him? He's coming down. He's stepping out. That's questionable. But what I've seen with the Minnesota Vikings tonight, Joe, is here's a team that came here tonight to get Chris Carter 1,000 catches. And then let's go home. Because they really haven't done much since then.
Better not go home yet. They're only up by 7, and there's plenty of time left. 3rd and 10. 4-man rush. Plenty of time for Culpepper. Now he throws underneath. That's going to be way shy of a first down. Mo Williams made the catch out of the backfield. We said it before, the 1,000th catch for Chris Carter was such an emotional play, not only for Chris Carter, but for the team and the fans here in this building. It was a tremendous celebration.
Yes, New Orleans can deal with success. Jim Haslett will have it no other way.
Stewart. Running room for Stewart to the 19-yard line. Kylie Wong and Ed McDaniel combined on the tackle.
This football team, the Lions, offensively have only scored 1 touchdown when they've started inside their own 20. Keep in mind, the league average is 6.
Well, they need one right here. This drive started at the 12.
Someone forgot to tell the Detroit Lions that they have a lot of people hurt. He hasn't registered with them yet.
Gary Moeller still working on his undefeated streak. Has got some work to do yet.
Stewart caught in the backfield.
Tony Williams.
He is a very quick defensive tackle at 285.
And they got somebody down on the field, and that's Tony Williams. He's down. But you talk about quick. James Stewart, number 34, is going to try to get to the outside. Watch number 94 come through, break the block, and make the tackle.
Beat Tony Semple. Williams out of Memphis has had a tendency to wear down late in ball games because of his weight. 3rd and 5. Cedric Irvin is in. Case. Now he scrambles. Stoney Case, first down and more. Cuts it back inside, gets to the 44. Oh, that was a great move by Stoney Case. Got him another 10.
And that's the difference between Stoney Case and Charlie Batch. Charlie Batch will not break out of the pocket. He doesn't have those type of legs. When I talked to Sly Groom last night, he said, hey, look, if Stoney goes in, he can run, and it'll be a dimension that they won't be ready for. And there it is. Watch the move. I'm not going out of bounds. Tyrone Carter was going to give him a flipper.
And he got nothing but thin air.
Yeah, but Stoney, get out of bounds.
He was a brilliant runner in college, had an exceptional career at New Mexico. Case to throw with a man in his face, incomplete, intended for Morton. And Stoney Case was drilled after he threw it. There's a flag down at that spot. And a huge play. That'll be 15 yards for Detroit.
Personal foul. Roughing the passer. Blow to the helmet. Number 93 defense. 15 yards.
Randall.
First down.
Blow to the helmet. It really is one thing that they will not tolerate at all. John Randall, 93. Watch this. He hits him in the head. That is an outstanding call. And the official's right there.
You know,
you just can't hit him in the head.
No, you can't. I mean, I think it's a good call, but I also, You have to let quarterbacks take hits, and you have to let defensive linemen be able to play defense. He was airborne. He couldn't stop.
Yeah, but well, I'm not a fan of the rule, but you can't hit him in the head.
I agree. I totally agree with that one, but I still think there's some latitude there that an official has to give a defensive lineman.
It's a huge play. They have it 1st and 10 at the 41. Stewart, nowhere to go. James Stewart, 2 plays in a row, has been unable to get back to the line of scrimmage. Jim Nelson and Lemansky Hall led the charge for the Vikings.
Well, that play was stopped right in the hole. It was jammed, and James Stewart had no place to go. Lemansky Hall is number 55. Watch when Stewart, 64, tries to go to the hole. Look at here. It just shut down. There's no place to go. So Tony Wong, 52, was the guy who was sitting in the hole. Excuse me, Joe. And then Lemansky Hall and others just make the play. That is just terrific.
And Tony Simple, number 62, the left guard, has not done a very good job on the last 2 running plays.
Case with a short set, incomplete, intended for his tight end, David Sloan. And now a huge 3rd and 18 for the Lions.
With 6, almost 7 minutes to go in this game, I don't believe that you try and pick up the first down. What you do is get enough yards, make it a good, safe pass, and then punt it, let your defense go out, and get you 1 more possession.
I don't go with that. Get the first down. I mean, you got these people playing back on their heels. The Minnesota Vikings are in trouble.
But you have to understand, for receivers to run 17, 18 yards, he's going to need some really good protection.
I love it when you guys fight.
I'm not fighting.
Case. Inside the 40-yard line. It'll be 4th and about 9. John Burrow tracked him down. Now you might think about going for it.
Well, I'll tell you what, they're standing on the sideline. The punter is not coming out. The field goal kicker's not coming out.
Well, you're in that in-between area at the 38. Doesn't do you much good to punt it.
They're going for it. First of all, they're going to take a timeout, and then they're going to go for it.
Punt team.
And Denny Green just telling his guys, be alert for any kind of a fake.
John Jett will kick it away sky high. Walters makes the fair catch at the 12. A punt of only 26, but he did his job. And seconds to go in the game. Robert Smith. Nice hit by Corwin Brown, and Stephen Boyd helped him out at the 15. This Lions defense under Larry Peccatello has managed to hang in there after being down early. Culpepper, 160 yards. Smith, 72, not bad. Moss has been held to 26 and Carter to 45. And keep in mind, 3/4 of the secondary is out injured. Culpepper. Carter tried to catch it over his other shoulder. Terry Fair on the coverage.
Well, everybody wants pass interference. Terry Fair, just excellent coverage.
They've let him do a lot of contact. We saw it before in a Randy Moss deep pass. Fair comes out, trying to reach for the ball. I think that's an excellent defensive play and a good call by the official.
A little bit of contact, but you got to let him play.
A lot less than we saw on Randy Moss going down the field earlier in the game.
Of course, Chris really works the officials. There's Larry Peccatello. Done a great job for a long time with that Lions defense. 3rd down, here comes the blitz. Culpepper throws it away. And Minnesota will have to punt. So the decision by Gary Moeller to kick it deep pays off. It's a 3-and-out. Joe Theismann is right again, and I'm really getting tired of it, I tell you.
I mean, it's not me, but when your defense is playing as well as they are, right, Paul? They've tried to kick away from them all night.
And Howard's so dangerous. Nearly got a block on Berger. Berger goes down, no flag. Howard can't get out of the way of special teams. They drag him down. Mo Williams with a great job on coverage from their own 38. Stewart breaks the tackle. James Stewart, 1st down at midfield. Well, you got to hand it to the Lions. It looked like they were dead to the world. They have just... Case in trouble. John Randall buried him at the 40. But 2nd and 20. Flanker screen. Desmond Howard back to the original line of scrimmage. It'll be 3rd and 10. His first catch of the night. Stoney Case had to get rid of it in a hurry. Sacked by Sawyer. Oh.
That's on Stocker McDougal, excuse me. That's the rookie tackle who just couldn't get his feet moving fast enough. And then it's a simple grab and throw down.
Smith, they fake the end around, and Robert Smith. 10, 5, touchdown. That's the backbreaker, 43 yards for Robert Smith, his 2nd touchdown, and he has 115 for the night.
Joe, almost 3 hours ago we said the big play, the Minnesota Vikings, and here it is.
This is the way the Minnesota Vikings have been able to beat people. One big play.
Gary Anderson for the point after.
Watch Robert Smith. They fake the end around to Moss, and then Carter. I mean, Robert Smith, just take a look at what he does. You stretch it out, and you want to know how fast he is? That's how fast he is.
Yeah, but we talk about Chris Carter's ability to catch. Watch when Robert Smith breaks back. Look who throws the block out front. That's Chris Carter throwing it on Kewin Supernaw, excuse me. Everything Chris Carter.
Viking fan. Desmond Howard deep to return. Late kick from Mitch Berger. Minute warning. Their only chances to stop the clock. Stoney Case. Underneath to Cedric Urban for 9.
And what the Lions need to do is they're going to need more than just nickel and dimes. They're going to have to get 1 or 2 passes in here of 15 yards or more to be able to eat up some of this real estate.
If you joined us late, Charlie Batch was hurt early, re-injured his ribs. Case has been on ever since. Urban, another pass underneath out to the 38. Tackled by Kenny Wright.
Switch sides. It takes time. It takes too much time. Line up now in the same formation.
Sloan, the big tight end, gets to midfield. That will take us to 2 minutes. In the first catch. Case with plenty of time. Johnny Morton got it. Now they say he bobbled it. Incomplete at the 3.
Their most dangerous receiver. He goes up to make a play on the ball. Well, you know, I mean, if he'd have been knocked out of bounds, all right, it would have been different. He goes up. Does he have both feet when he comes down? 1, 2. He's got possession.
Yes, he does.
That should be a catch. That should be a catch.
He doesn't come down with both feet in bounds.
But he has possession of it with his left and then his right. I believe he does.
No, he does not.
Okay.
Hit as he throws, complete anyway to Foster. The issue this year, of course, is control. Do you have it in your possession, in control when you come down? There is the director of officiating who visited us earlier tonight, Jerry Seaman.
If you have possession in bounds and then go out of bounds and have the ball bounce away, 2 feet in.
Case in trouble, sacked again back at the 47. Bryce Hawk, who is just coming back from a broken leg, gets only his 2nd sack of the year. 3rd and long. And movement by Stocker McDougal. Trying to pull out a miracle. Under pressure again. Case trying to run for it, slides in at the 40. And that's for the Lions, 4th and 11.
Now look at Griffith, number 24. He's waiting in the end zone. Foster just goes up in front of him, basically knocks.
Probably got hurt in the draft because of that, but he's really come on to make some plays for the Lions.
And the Viking fans who are still here can't go home yet. The Lions will try an onside kick. The yellow line you see on your screen, the ball must pass that line before it can be touched by the offensive team.
And also the
illegal kick.
The guys on the kicking team cannot make contact with the defenders in front of that line.
Kick it a little deeper, and Randy Moss, smart play, just knocks it out of bounds. The Minnesota Vikings, with that heads-up play by Moss, who didn't bother to try to catch it and make a play, made the smart play instead, will win their 11th game and will be the first NFL team to make the playoffs. Here's the preseason picks that everybody made. Nobody picked them for first place. The Sporting News 5th, Pro Football Weekly 5th, Sports Illustrated and Street and Smith 4th. ESPN, the magazine, came closest, but they only picked them 2nd, and the Vikings are running away with it in the NFC Central. They will have a 3-game lead on the Lions.
And they've done it the same way every game. 1 or 2 big plays has made a difference for them. A lot different than that 98 team that just rolled up a lot of points on people. This one, I believe, is much better prepared to deal with the playoffs as they get ready to wait for opponents.
It will be a major test next week when they play the St. Louis Rams. Might see a lot of points racked up in that. Chris Carter, over 1,000 catches for his career. Our final score, 24-17. The Vikings win it. SportsCenter is next with all the news, scores, and highlights. For our entire ESPN, understand his journey. The road to 1,000 catches was anything but smooth. With the help of family and friends, Carter faced his demons and defeated them. He may have worked tirelessly to become a better player, but he worked even harder to become a better man.
Number 1,000. First quarter, Lions punting. Lamar Campbell tries to save the ball, but the Vikings' Troy Walters catches it and takes it 62 yards to the Lions' 34-yard line. Well, Walters' dad is pretty excited, and you didn't have to look too far to find him. He's the Vikings linebacker coach. Next play, Dante Culpepper looking for Chris Carter. The countdown continues. Career catch number 996. Next play, Culpepper, Carter, 997. Same drive, 3rd and goal. Culpepper, not to Carter, but to Moss. Sets up a 4th and goal, just short of a touchdown. And Moss says, let's go for it, coach. Bryant Westbrook hurt on the play, would not return. 4th and goal, it's Robert Smith. Looked like he lost control of the ball going up, but they signaled touchdown, 7-0 Vikes. Look at it again. Smith, did he have possession? Well, it was ruled a touchdown. The Vikings ran onto the field to kick the extra point, so it couldn't be questioned. Charlie Batch re-injured his ribs. He was gone. Culpepper, Carter, 998. Later in the drive, 1st and 5 of the 10, Culpepper. Carter, 999. Next play. First play of the second quarter, and how appropriate. The man, Buddy Ryan, once said, all he does is catch touchdowns. Career reception number 1,000. Vikings stake to a 14-0 lead. Randy Moss gives a nice big hug. And then his family came on the field. His daughter, his son, his wife. Back to the game. 17-3 Vikings. Stoney Case in for Batch. To Larry Foster. Kaylee Wong will pick up the fumble, but the ball was ruled dead. You look at it again, I'll tell you why. Foster clearly fumbles the ball, but because Foster was ruled down by contact, the play is not reversible, and Denny Green is not pleased. After a Lions punt, Vikings deep in their own territory. Culpepper picked off by Alan Aldridge. Takes it back to the Vikings' 10-yard line. Culpepper, 2 interceptions on the evening. The ensuing possession for the Lions, it's James Stewart. And suddenly we have a ball game. Lions down 17-10. Same score late in the 4th quarter, under 5 minutes to play. And Stoney Case who had plenty of company in the backfield all night long. It's John Randall's turn. 3 plays later, it's 4th and 10. Talon Sawyer gets to know Stoney Case. Vikings get the ball on downs. Marshall Faulk may be the best running back in the game. But you know what? Robert Smith is having a tremendous season. Lost in the shadow of Faulk and maybe Edgerrin James. Vikings go up 24-10. Lions did get a Hail Mary pass for a touchdown late in the final 10 seconds. The Vikings win this one 24-17. Vikings clinch a playoff berth for the 8th time in 9 seasons under Dennis Green. Robert Smith, 5th straight game with a touchdown and at least 100 yards. Chris Carter, 7 catches, including number 1,000 of his Hall of Fame career. Lions are 6-12 in their last 18 trips to the Metrodome. But back to the star of the night, Chris Carter. He spoke with our Solomon Wilcots moments ago.
Minnesota Vikings wide receiver Chris Carter becomes only the 2nd player in NFL history to amass 1,000 receptions. You said this is the only record you've ever chased. Why is that?
I mean, it's unbelievable. It's hard to believe. You know, I can't take credit. It's not something I ever thought I'd be able to do. I mean, glory to God, my health. You know, I can't take credit for it. No man can take credit for it. It's all God.
How important was it that you guys came out? They were looking to get you the ball right away. Were you guys looking to put this thing to rest tonight?
Well, not necessarily the record, but we knew they were giving us some soft coverages. They're getting 8 in the box, so we're going to throw the quick hitch out and get 5 or 6. It's just like a run. It had nothing to do with the record, just the game plan that we have. We typically have that in, especially when we're going against smaller corners. It's an easy way to get us the ball quick.
They say you catch nothing but touchdowns. How fitting was it that the 1,000th reception of your career was a touchdown?
Well, the only thing more fitting than that was being able to be here on ESPN, because Chris Berman, a long time ago, gave me that name, and you know, and I'm thankful for it. You know, people laugh about it, you know, early in my career, but as it's going on, you know, it's kind of stuck with me. And I do tell Chris I do a little bit more than just catch touchdowns.
That's right. You guys clinch a playoff berth tonight, but I understand you guys have other things to take care of in terms of trying to win a championship before you close out a great career.
You got 2 tired football teams, though. You're playing 3 games in 11 days. You know, it's tough. It's tough on the team. They got a lot of injuries. You know, that's what you saw out here today. Tired football teams. We got some time off before we play St. Louis. That's going to be the biggest game of the season. In St. Louis, it's going to be a tremendous challenge because they're a tremendous football team, but we're trying to get home field advantage.
All right, well, thanks for joining us, Chris.
All right, thanks.
So on a record-setting night for Chris Carter, the Vikings become the first team this season to clinch a playoff berth. Now let's send it back to the studio.
All right, Solomon, thanks very much. We also extend our congratulations to Chris Carter on his effort. Joined by Marty Schottenheimer here on SportsCenter. With the Vikings win, they break the tie with Oakland. Minnesota now stands alone, the best record in the NFL at 11-2. And because of that, or is it the other way around, they've got some of the best playmakers in the NFL.
No doubt about it, Steve. And, you know, I'll tell you what, I thought Denny Green was out of his mind when he let Randall Cunningham go and let Jeff George go to bring in a quarterback who had never thrown a forward pass in a National Football League game. But obviously, Denny knew it a lot better than me, and it really came down, as you suggested, to the playmakers that he's got on his football team. Take a look at Robert Smith. One of the finest runs I've seen in a long time, but on the ground, right at the bottom of the screen, great block by Chris Carter. Berman, he in fact does do more than catch touchdowns. Of course, you know, people talk about Randy Moss as a deep receiver all the time, but here he is showing his skills and ability to work the boundary, keep his feet in bounds, and do the things that are necessary to get the big thing done. How about this one? The inside fly route for the 1,000th catch in that career. But this is the guy that's put it all together, the guy who's exceeded anybody's expectations. Big, strong Culpepper. He shows tremendous skills in the pocket. But how about this play? Take a look at this. Well-coached football team. The returner realizes that that ball is now a dead ball unless he chooses to take off, and that's exactly what he does. He's on his way, about a 60-yard gain in that particular situation. So, Steve, you know, this football team, there's a reason why they're 11-2. Denny Green, outstanding job this season. The pieces have fit. They're going to go a while.
5th straight playoff appearance for Minnesota. Now they work on home field advantage throughout the NFC playoffs. They've won 12 regular season games in a row at the Metrodome, but not to be lost in all the offense and the playmakers is the defensive unit.
I think probably the biggest surprise of the season would be the way this defensive football team is played. You know, I had them ranked like the 4th best football team in that division, but watch here, John Randall making the big sack. Game's still only a 7-point differential, but how about Sawyer coming off the edge, reaching around, making the sack, and of course, ultimately, I think you're going to have to play good defense in the National Football League this year, and Minnesota's defense far better than I expected they'd be, Steve.
All right, the Lions suffer their first loss so far under Gary Moeller, also their first loss on a Thursday so far this season. Dan, we send it back to you. Pucks now, and if Eric Lindros was watching last night, he might have changed his mind about wanting to play for the Maple Leafs. Toronto blew a 5-0 third-period lead on home ice last night, spoiling a career night for Ty Domi, who had 3 points, and now has scored one more goal than superstar captain Matt Sundin. Sundin, who's rumored to be involved in a possible trade for Lindros, was on ice for the last 4 goals against, and last night's overtime loss to the Blues. So off that devastating loss, the Leafs were on Long Island. Yannick Perota, Sergei Berezin, the windup and the shot off Roman Hamrlik's stick, and by Wade Flaherty score the goal to tie it at 2. It's 4-3 in the third. Matt Sundin, the big bomb goes off of Domi and in. Sundin and Domi getting hot at the right time to tie it at 4. Later in the third, out in front, Steve Thomas the chance. Matt Sundin on the rebound by Flaherty. 7th of the year for Big Mats. 5-4 Leafs. They add the empty netter. Leafs win their 5th straight at Nassau Coliseum. Is that Domi or Yager who scored 6 goals in the last 5 games? Ty, the sniper, has 8 goals now on the season. Toronto had just 1 shot on goal in the first period, and Domi had it.
To Carolina for the Hurricanes and the Flyers. Paul Maurice and the Canes can pull their record to 500 with a win. Ronnie Francis, great pass. Sammy Kapanen right in front. Roman Czechmanek complains, and Kapanen says deal with it. Although the replay shows Kapanen turns his skate, deflects the puck into the net. May have been a kick, but ruled a goal. Kapanen's 5th, Carolina up 1-0. Former Hurricane Keith Primo. Great move at the blue line. David Tanabe hustles back to poke it away. Primo and the Flyers denied. Hurricanes win this one by a 2-0 count. Flyers have dropped 3 of their last 4. In their last 7 wins, the Hurricanes have given up just 4 goals, outscoring the opposition 18-4, including 3 shutouts.
Wild in the Coyotes' second period was scoreless. Scramble in front. Ossi Vananen shot deflected. It just squeaks by Manny Fernandez. Take a look. The puck hits Fernandez's skate and goes in. 1-0 Coyotes. Still in the second. Wild power play. 3-on-1. You rarely see that. And the stop by Robert Esch. Jacques Lemaire says he had to bury the 3-on-1. Late in the second, Wyatt Smith to Mike Sullivan knocks it home. Coyotes' 5th shorthanded goal of the season. They have a 2-0 lead in that one. 2-0 is your score for now. Minnesota 3-1-1 in their last 5.
Were you pausing for effect there?
Yes, I was. Looking for the F for final. Still to come on the show.